Ladies and gentlemen, there will always be a moment in life where what you want now will try to silence what you were born for. And in that moment, your decision will define you. Life will test you not just through hardship, but through temptation. The temptation to lower your standards, to trade your destiny for popularity, to sacrifice your authenticity for the illusion of acceptance. But there are some things you must never sacrifice. Not for a job, not for a relationship, not for money, not for applause. These are the anchors of your soul, and once they're gone, you start drifting in someone else's ocean. Never sacrifice. Your purpose is not a suggestion, it's not a luxury for the privileged. Purpose is the reason you are alive. It's the divine assignment stitched into your soul before your first breath. And yet, how many people walk this earth every day with breath in their lungs and no clarity in their steps? They've confused movement with meaning. They're busy but not becoming. They're active but not aligned. Let me ask you a personal question. What did you trade your purpose for? Was it comfort? Was it applause? Was it a relationship? Was it the safety of a predictable life? Many of us have unknowingly made silent exchanges, selling our purpose in exchange for peace with people who never understood our calling in the first place. You see, your purpose is not something you find in the world, it's something you uncover from within. It was with you when you were born. It was hidden in your DNA, coded into your design. That's why nothing else ever truly satisfies you. That's why the job pays well, but you feel empty. That's why the relationship looks good, but your soul feels restless. Because you were not created to live a life of survival. You were created to live a life of significance. The danger is that the world will always offer you alternatives to purpose. It will dress up distractions as opportunities. It will present detours that look like destiny. But here's the truth. Anything that pulls you away from your purpose is not a blessing. It's a trap. Don't confuse popularity with purpose. The crowd didn't create you, so why do you seek their validation? Don't measure your life by how many people follow you. Measure it by how many people are changed because you followed your assignment. Purpose isn't always loud. Sometimes it looks like a quiet no when everyone else says yes. Sometimes it's a season of isolation where God pulls you aside to develop you in secret before He reveals you in public. The world celebrates talent, but destiny is built on purpose. Purpose is what keeps you going when the applause stops. Purpose is what keeps you standing when the ground shakes. Purpose is what reminds you who you are when the world tries to rename you. And listen, when you abandon your purpose, you create a vacancy only frustration can fill. You will try to fill it with entertainment, with noise, with other people's plans, but nothing fits. You were custom designed for something specific. And anything that doesn't align with your design will feel like pressure, not peace. Some of you have spent years ignoring the whisper of your assignment. But purpose is persistent. It doesn't go away because you're afraid. It doesn't disappear because you feel unqualified. In fact, purpose often shows up strongest in your weakness. That's how you know it's not your idea, it's your calling. You were born to solve a problem, to heal a wound, to answer a question that existed in this generation before you ever arrived. There is something this world is waiting for you to deliver. But it won't come through imitation. It won't come through comparison. It will only come through the authentic, unshakable pursuit of your purpose. So let me remind you, you are not random. You are not a mistake. You are not too late. You are not too broken. And you are not too far gone. As long as you have breath, your purpose still has room to be fulfilled. You may have drifted. You may have doubted. But you can return, you can realign. You can choose to stop sacrificing your purpose for temporary satisfaction. Because when you choose purpose, you choose power. When you walk in purpose, you don't chase success. It starts chasing you. And once you truly understand your purpose, you'll never again let comfort convince you to live small. Never sacrifice your integrity. Integrity is the foundation upon which all greatness stands. Without it, success is an illusion. Fame is fleeting and influence becomes dangerous. Integrity is not about being perfect. It's about being whole. It's about being the same person when the lights are off as you are when the spotlight is shining bright. In today's world, compromise has become a currency. People trade truth for acceptance. They bend principles for popularity. They alter their identity just to be liked. But I came to tell you today, what you compromise to keep, you will eventually lose. Because anything you gain by sacrificing your integrity is not truly yours. It owns you. What is integrity? It is not just telling the truth. It is living the truth. It is alignment between your beliefs, your words, and your actions. When what you say matches what you do, and both are rooted in what you believe, that is integrity. Integrity isn't tested in comfort, it's tested in pressure. It's easy to be honest when there's no cost to it. But what happens when your honesty might cost you a promotion? What happens when standing for what's right might isolate you? That's when integrity speaks loudest. Let's be real. Life will offer you shortcuts. There will be moments where a lie looks easier than the truth, where a compromise seems harmless, where doing what's right feels lonely and doing what's wrong feels rewarding. But remember this, every compromise chips away at the foundation of your character. You may not feel it at first, but over time, the cracks will show. Some people lose their peace not because life is chaotic, but because their private life no longer matches their public image. They're performing a version of themselves that isn't real. That's exhausting. That's unsustainable. Integrity says, I refuse to pretend. I will not build a reputation that my character cannot carry. Let me tell you something powerful. Integrity is more valuable than influence. Because influence without integrity is manipulation. But integrity will give you influence that lasts. It builds trust. It commands respect, even from those who disagree with you. People may not always agree with your decisions, but if they know you're consistent, honest, and principled, they'll trust your voice. When you protect your integrity, you protect your legacy. You are not just living for yourself. You are leaving a trail. Your children will walk it. Your community will follow it. Your name will either become a door or a warning sign to those who come after you. Don't let short-term gains ruin a long-term reputation. There are people who lost everything, not because they weren't gifted, but because they weren't grounded. Talent took them to heights their character couldn't sustain. That's the danger of charisma without integrity. You can impress people for a moment, but only integrity sustains impact over time. Let me speak to the one who thinks it's too late. You may have made some choices you're not proud of. You may have compromised in areas that now haunt you. But hear me clearly. You can recover your integrity. It begins with repentance. It continues with responsibility. And it's proven through consistency. Start small. Keep your word even when it hurts. Tell the truth even when it's inconvenient. Stand alone if you must, but don't bend. Because the moment you choose your integrity over the easy way out, you declare that your soul is not for sale. Integrity won't always make you popular, but it will always make you powerful. It gives you a quiet confidence that no external applause can give. It allows you to sleep at night knowing that you didn't have to lie, cheat, or sell yourself to succeed. And once you build your life on integrity, no storm can shake you, no lie can destroy you, and no enemy can discredit you, because your foundation is firm and your spirit is unshakable. Never sacrifice your peace. There is a kind of noise that doesn't come from outside but from within. It's the sound of a soul that has been stretched too thin, a heart pulled in 100 directions, a mind constantly wrestling, worrying, and wandering. That is what happens when you sacrifice your peace. Bang! Peace is not passive. It is not weakness. Peace is power. It is the stillness in the middle of the storm. It is the ability to stay calm in chaos, to stay centered when life spins. Peace is not the absence of problems. It is the presence of inner stability, even when the problems come. And in today's world, peace is under attack. The world is loud. The pressure is intense. Social media, deadlines, comparisons, expectations, responsibilities. Everywhere you turn, something is trying to invade your quiet place. But hear me today. Your peace is sacred. Protect it, guard it. Fight for it if you have to. Many people live with inner chaos and call it normal. They've been in survival mode for so long, they've forgotten what it feels like to rest. Not just physically, but emotionally. They've learned to function while being fragmented. But there comes a point where functioning isn't enough. God didn't create you to live in constant stress. You were created for rhythm, for order, for divine rest. One of the most dangerous things you can do is succeed on the outside while you're falling apart on the inside. When you sacrifice your peace for performance, eventually it will show. You'll burn out, you'll lash out, you'll shut down, because peace is not optional for the human soul. It's a necessity. The truth is, peace requires boundaries. You cannot keep entertaining chaos and expect calm. You cannot keep saying yes to everything and expect to have time to breathe. Peace demands that you prioritize your mental and emotional health. It demands that you learn to say no, even to good things, so you can say yes to the right things. Some of you are stressed, not because your life is cursed, but because your calendar is crowded. You've given your energy to everyone else and left nothing for yourself. You've been pouring from an empty cup, hoping to be everything to everybody, and losing yourself in the process. Let me tell you something you may need to hear. You are allowed to protect your peace without apologizing for it. You don't have to answer every phone call. You don't have to explain every decision. You don't have to justify your quiet time. If they don't understand, let them misunderstand. Your peace is not up for negotiation. There are people who will bring storms to your life and then call you weak for seeking shelter. Don't let them guilt you into staying in places that disturb your soul. Not everyone deserves access to your inner world. Not every voice deserves to influence your direction. Peace also comes from alignment. When your life aligns with your purpose, peace flows. When you know you're where you're supposed to be, doing what you're called to do, with people who nourish your soul, peace becomes your default. But the moment you step outside of that divine alignment, confusion begins. Agitation sets in. Your spirit becomes restless. If something keeps disturbing your peace, don't just tolerate it, investigate it. Ask yourself, is this relationship healthy? Is this environment feeding me or draining me? Is this commitment still in alignment with my calling? Don't keep holding on to things that cost you your calm. If it's killing your peace, it's stealing your destiny. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in life don't come from fighting harder, they come from letting go. Letting go of people who bring confusion. letting go of expectations that were never yours to carry, letting go of the belief that rest is laziness. It's not. Rest is wisdom. Peace is protection. And both are your responsibility. Never sacrifice your time. Time is the most valuable currency you have. Unlike money, you can't earn it back. Unlike possessions, you can't store it away for later. Time is moving with or without your permission. And every second you spend is a second you'll never see again. That's why you must be intentional with how you use it. Because every moment you waste isn't just a delay in your schedule, it's a delay in your day. You don't own time, you only steward it. It was given to you as a gift. You didn't create it, you didn't request it, you were entrusted with it. And when something is entrusted to you, you have a responsibility to treat it with reverence. How you handle time reveals what you truly value. The tragedy is that many people sacrifice their time for things that don't matter. They give their hours to people who don't respect them, spend years in jobs that don't fulfill them, and fill their calendars with commitments that don't align with their calling. They confuse being busy with being productive. They confuse activity with advancement. But hear me today. Busyness is not a badge of honor. Running all day, exhausted every night, overwhelmed by tasks that bear no fruit. That is not the life you were designed to live. That is not divine. That is distraction disguised as duty. There's a reason the word priority is singular. You were never meant to have 100 number one things. Time management is not about doing more, it's about doing what matters most. You must learn to say no without guilt and yes without regret. Because every yes to something unworthy is a no to something purposeful. Look around you. People are aging but not advancing. They're moving but not maturing because they're pouring time into things that look urgent but lack eternal impact. You don't just need a schedule, you need standards. What is worthy of your time? Who deserves your attention? Not everyone and not everything qualifies. Let's talk real. Some relationships are costing you time you can't afford to lose. Some conversations are stealing minutes that were meant for meditation, creation, or restoration. Some scrolling habits are turning hours into dust. Time is not just ticking, it is testifying. Every day it records what you chose to invest in. When you give your time to the wrong people or the wrong plans, you delay your own development. You extend seasons that were meant to end. You stay stuck in cycles that drain you. That's why protecting your time is not selfish. It's sacred. Because when you protect your time, you protect your becoming. You don't have time to waste proving your worth to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You don't have time to explain your every move to those who never cared about your mission. You don't have time to keep going in circles when you were made to move forward. Time is too precious. Your purpose is too great. Your window is too short. The enemy of your destiny doesn't always come dressed in destruction. Sometimes it shows up as distraction. If the enemy can destroy you, he'll just delay you by filling your life with things that look important but aren't aligned with your assignment. That's why you must be a steward of seasons. Some doors only stay open for a time. Some opportunities are wrapped in moments that don't repeat. Don't let fear, procrastination, or comfort cost you divine timing. Time doesn't wait for your confidence to catch up. It moves. And if you're not moving with it, you're losing ground, even if you feel safe. So ask yourself, what am I trading my time for? Is it worth it? Does it push me forward? Does it grow me? Does it prepare me for where I'm called to go? Because if it doesn't, you don't need it. You can't afford to keep sacrificing the one thing you can't get back, your time. Never sacrifice your identity. Your identity is your anchor. It is the core of who you are, beyond the titles, beyond the roles, beyond the expectations. It is your divine fingerprint, uniquely assigned, eternally significant. And yet, in a world that constantly tries to mold you, label you, and define you, your greatest battle will often be the battle to remain yourself. There is a deep danger in forgetting who you are. When you lose your identity, you don't just lose your sense of direction. You lose your power, your peace, your place. Because everything in your life flows from how you see yourself. The way you make decisions, the people you choose, the boundaries you set, the dreams you chase or abandon. It all starts with identity. But here's what many people don't realize. You don't discover your identity through people's approval. You discover it through truth. You don't become yourself by mimicking others. You become yourself by uncovering the original you that existed before society shaped you, before trauma wounded you, before fear silenced you. There's a pressure, subtle yet persistent, to fit in, to conform, to adapt. You're told to tone it down, shrink yourself, be agreeable, be acceptable, be normal. But if normal means pretending, if normal means erasing your authenticity, then normal is not for you. You were never called to blend in, you were called to stand out. And yet, how many sacrifice their identity just to be liked? They become a version of themselves that is easy to digest, easy to accept, sanitized, simplified, scripted. But here's the truth. Any version of you that requires you to abandon your truth is a lie. And lies are heavy. Living a life that doesn't align with who you are will drain you, confuse you, and eventually destroy you from the inside out. You don't need to apologize for being different. You don't need to hide your uniqueness to make others feel comfortable. Your difference is your design. What makes you stand out is not a liability, it's a signal of your assignment. Some people won't understand you because they were never meant to, and that's okay. Your identity is not a group project. You don't need a committee to validate your calling. You don't need applause to confirm your authenticity. As long as you know who you are, you don't have to fear who walks away. Identity is not based on circumstance, it is rooted in conviction. Your job may change, your season may shift, your relationships may evolve, but who you are, your values, your voice, your vision must remain intact, because if the world can strip you of your identity, it could control your destiny. You must protect your identity the way a guardian protects a sacred treasure. Don't let insecurity rewrite your narrative. Don't let rejection rewrite your name. Don't let comparison cause you to abandon your own path just to chase someone else's. You don't need to become a copy when you were born an original. When you know who you are, you stop begging for places at tables you were meant to build yourself. You stop altering your soul to fit environments that were never created for you. You stop trying to earn acceptance from people who don't even accept themselves. This is more than confidence. It's clarity. It's walking into every room knowing that you carry something valuable, that your voice matters, that your presence has weight, that your story has purpose. You are not random. You are not inferior. You are not too much. You are exactly who you were created to be. And once you fully embrace your identity, you become unstoppable. Not because life gets easier, but because you no longer compromise your essence just to survive. There comes a time in every person's life where choices must be made, not just for survival, but for significance. The kind of choices that define not just what you do, but who you become. And in that defining moment, the question is not, what can I gain? but rather, what must I never lose? You must never sacrifice your purpose, because it is the reason you were born. Never trade it for comfort, for approval, or for fear. The world doesn't need more copies. It needs the courage of the called. You must never sacrifice your integrity, because once trust is broken, no amount of talent can restore it. Live in such a way that your name speaks louder than your resume. Let your character echo beyond your achievements. You must never sacrifice your peace, because without peace, success is shallow and rest is impossible. Guard your inner world like a fortress. Protect it from drama, distraction, and doubt. You were never designed to live in chaos. You must never sacrifice your time, because every wasted moment is a piece of your purpose left unfulfilled. Invest in what matters. Prioritize what pushes you forward. And remember, anything that steals your time without feeding your soul is too expensive. And finally, you must never sacrifice your identity, because once you lose sight of who you are, you become vulnerable to everything the world tells you to be. Don't abandon your truth to chase trends. Don't dilute your value just to belong. Stay rooted, stay real, stay you. These 5 pillars are not luxuries, they are lifelines. They are what keep you anchored when life shakes. They are what preserve your soul when the world applauds your shell. Don't sacrifice what is eternal just to gain what is temporary. You were created for more. Let the world watch you rise, not because you sold yourself to get there, but because you stood firm in who you are, what you believe, and what you were born to do. That kind of success, it's not just powerful, it's unshakable.